Welcome into another video where we're going through and testing all the weapons inside of MW3 to see how viable these weapons are for us to be using inside of our Zombies game mode. This is definitely going to include the aftermarket parts, the aftermarket conversion kits, as well as the weapons from MW2. So if you're new around here and you love to see how weapons perform inside of Call of Duty Zombies, you are definitely in the right spot. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications so you're not going to miss out any future uploads from myself. As well, down below in the description, you will find the link for my streams. I stream on Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream over on Twitch, everything from MW3 Zombies all the way through to custom zombie maps, and have an absolute blast over there. Would love to see you all come and hang out. Now in today's video, on Wednesdays, as you know, it's my favorite day of the week for MW3. Why? Because they update our weekly challenges. And this week, we have the Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit for the MX Guardian shotgun. Now I was rather intrigued to check out and see how this aftermarket conversion kit was going to perform, as their previous week's aftermarket conversion kit for the Cat sniper rifle was underwhelming. There's also a brand new event, The Walking Dead Road to Terminus has started, and the final reward is this animated camo, and I think it's going to look absolutely amazing and going to be really cool to rock. So let me know what you think about the event. As well, we are also so very close to our next Black Ops 6 giveaway, which happens when the channel reaches 5,000 subscribers. And as of recording this video, I had 100 subscribers to go before we can do a Black Ops 6 Vault Edition giveaway this time on any platform of your choice. To be qualified, all you need to do is be subscribed, liking, and commenting on my videos. As well, having the channel reach almost 5,000 subscribers, the Zhorde Discord, full of players who are willing to help out other players, has crossed the 600 member mark, and I could not be more proud of that community that we are building inside of the Discord. Absolutely amazing place to be. So in today's video, we're going to be diving in and checking out the MX Guardian with its Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit, and we're taking this through all three tiers, taking on bounty contracts all the way through. So hopefully by the end of today's video, you have a good feel for how this aftermarket conversion kit performs inside of Zombies, and at the end of the video, you should be able to make up your mind on whether or not this is going to be a viable option for you to be using inside of your Zombies game mode. So without further ado, let's dive into the MX Guardian Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit review video today. Welcome into today's video. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate that. And today we're taking a look at the new aftermarket conversion kit that is available for the MX Guardian, the Jak Lance. So we're going to be taking that through all three tiers today, and we have one of the animated camos that came with the brand new battle rifle, one of the 4 base camos. So I thought that was really cool that it was animated. So we're going to be looking to keep that on this shotgun for today's run. Now, if you're new to my channel, when I spawn in here and do my weapon testing, we put on our perks, we put on no additions to the weapon to make it any stronger whatsoever, and head off and try and find our first bounty contract inside of tier 1. Now, the only addition I have to add any damage to the weapon would be running Deadshot Daiquiri, as I like the extra critical damage that it does provide. So we found our first bounty contract of the day, which was a Mimic. Now, I was kind of intrigued by this, as it says a fully charged shot will deal the most amount of damage, although you can fire them like shots before you have the most pressure on that little pressure gauge there. So I was kind of, testing out to see, is it better to shoot slower with full pressure or fast and get a lot of shots in? It was tough to say, but I did notice that the critical damage at just base rarity on this conversion kit was very underwhelming. I was not impressed. I was a little concerned at this point to see how things would be. Now, I did want to reserve judgment and see what happened when we visit Pack-a-Punch. So if you want to keep your camo, make sure you melee the machine and wait for the center to turn green before you use it or your PAP crystals. So we upped the damage output on the aftermarket conversion kit by visiting Pack-a-Punch. Still only white rarity with no ammo mods and no tools on the weapon, just Pack-a-Punch. That does take the ammunition up to 6, as in the base you only have 3 shots. The reload, though, is incredibly fast, so that's not something I would be too concerned about. But again, I wasn't sure with the firing whether quick shots were better or slow firing with full pressure was the better option on the bounties. I just really couldn't tell. It was tough to say. I felt like maybe the slower firing rate with the high pressure was the best way to go for max damage. So that's what I was kind of testing out and seeing how it performs. It was definitely an interesting sounding conversion kit. It definitely sounds like I'm shooting bolts. So that was definitely weird to listen to in this run. But you can see the damage rate. I mean, we're pack-a-punched, and this was definitely not unstressful. There was definitely some concern about whether or not I was going to be able to dish out enough damage to the bounty. It's not something I'd be able to just kind of back up and continue to take out damage. He would get closer and take me and dish you damage to myself. So it was time to kind of beef this up a little bit inside of Tier 1. Normally these are super fast and super fun contracts to do. The third one of the day inside of Tier 1 being Pack 1 Legendary with an ammo mod on. And so we often picked up our last bounty contract inside of Tier 1 and we got a Mangler. Now I was kind of intrigued to see how this would perform against a Mangler, knowing if I'm able to take out the cannon quickly, then it's probably going to be really well. But the first couple shots I hit on this Mangler was very underwhelming, and then I noticed that nothing was coming out the window here. Very odd. The zombies were throwing meat, but I figured this was an awesome opportunity to show you the damage output we're getting on the Mangler when we're hitting the critical shots. Now at Pack 1 Legendary inside of Tier 1, that wasn't too bad. It definitely wasn't the worst I've seen, but it wasn't something where I was like, wow, okay, I definitely want to be pushing into Tier 2, keeping the damage where it is. You know, it certainly wasn't giving me those vibes. So I did want to push into Tier 2, and I was curious to see just, you know, is this going to be an endless adventure to try and take on a bounty contract with this Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit inside Tier 2 being only Pack-a-Punch 1 Legendary, and I got a Disciple. Yay! I am not a fan of Disciples, especially not with this aftermarket conversion kit. Now, the critical damage I was able to dish out at Pack 1 inside of Tier 2 to this Disciple bounty contract was not too bad. It definitely wasn't anything to write home about, but it certainly does dish out some damage. I mean, we're Pack 1 inside of Tier 2. At range, there's not much in the way of damage you're doing, so you definitely want to be fairly close when using this. I did notice that right there when I was shooting the Disciple from far away. But the critical damage that I was able to dish out, another player showed up to help out, take out the Disciple. I was more than happy to have someone help out, take out Disciples. As you all know, I do not like them. But, I mean, it's 2 shots and you stop the healing, so that's definitely, you know, a good thing to see. But the critical damage I felt at this point, Pack 1, dealing with a bounty contract inside of Tier 2, it was just lacking. Now, for the player helping out, I grabbed the Epic tool and dropped it for them, but they had taken off. I guess they didn't need it. So, seeing as I was out of ammo, which is another thing I found was a problem with this weapon, I would turn myself into a mobile Pack-a-Punch machine, throw on my PAP-2 crystal, which would increase my ammo to maximum, and then go off and find our second bounty contract inside of Tier 2, which was another Disciple. Yay! And I wanted to show, you know, the majority of this Disciple fight so that you guys can see just how much of a struggle I was having. We're Pack 2 Legendary inside of Tier 2 on a bounty, and number one, the movement of this bounty today was driving me up the wall. I don't even know what I got stuck on here. Like, I was unable to jump over anything at one point and took it down. There was dogs here. My Disciple was wigging out in the area. I just could not move. I was trying to get over the fence, and yeah, took it down. So I was not impressed with this weapon at this point. We're now Pack-a-Punch 2 Legendary with Shatterblast on this Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit. And as far as being able to handle crowd control or dishing out, you know, damage to anything that you need to kind of clear out before you can focus in on bounty contract, I felt like this definitely struggles with large groups to clear them out and, you know, handle that. Being only Pack 2 inside of Tier 2, I felt like this should have been a lot stronger compared to some of the other weapons we have to use in the game that are definitely a lot more viable of an option for damage output to be using. Now, you can take care of zombies, armored zombies, and the dogs inside of Tier 2 at this damage output without much of a struggle. That's definitely something I noticed. It was handling that stuff well. The only time I was really kind of struggling with this was when we got into a bit of a crowd control, so, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 type thing for zombies. It definitely was something I was having issue with, taking, you know, some hits, trying to dish out the damage to those zombies to clear them out. Definitely was taking advantage of having energy mine on today and using that as much as I could to clear out some of the crowd control as well. As I just felt like this. The other thing I noticed, you'll see right here, with the ammo count, I just kept running out of ammo, which caused all kinds of problems. Of course, dealing with the Disciple bounty, if you have to leave the area and then come back in, they can re-heal. But when I got back, my bounty was, what? This is why I don't like Disciples. He decided to disappear underneath the map. Thank goodness the reward rift dropped for me. I got a PAP 2 crystal out of that. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's not so bad. We managed to replenish the PAP 2 crystal I used on this run so far. So it was time to push into tier 3, and I was a little leery of how well this was going to perform and handle against the tier 3 zombies, seeing how, you know, we weren't exactly melting everything across the first 2 tiers in our match so far. So I pushed into tier 3, stopped at the Wonderfizz machine to grab the rest of the perks like I always do when I get into tier 3. I love running around in here with all the perks on. And then I wanted to see how it handled some tier 3 zombies at Pack-a-Punch 2 Legendary, and 3, 4, 5, like 5 shots on a zombie at Pack 2 inside of tier 3. I was a little concerned on how viable and what my tier 3 run was going to entail, seeing how little damage we were dishing out on each shot with zombies just in tier 3 at Pack 2 inside of tier 3. So I figured it was time to throw on PAP 3 crystal, throw on mags of holding, no more messing around. Let's take this to max damage output, grab a large herd of zombies inside of tier 3, and see how does this handle crowd control. Now I'm using tac stance here to kind of see how it performs. You do have a little bit more mobility when you're in tac stance opposed to ADSing. So I was kind of curious to see that. We had another player in the area come and help out with some of the crowd control, but again, you can see I have to be moving back, and again, ammo down to 1 bullet. So this was definitely something I was struggling with using this. Now I was curious to see how this would perform against our good friend Zhorde, the Guardian of the Arches, and I was not full of confidence taking on Zhorde, the Guardian of the Arches today, I can tell you that. Holy smokes. Number one, I didn't have golden armor plates, so staying inside of George's lasers is going to require me replating. And here I forgot to add plates. I have 5. I didn't put any on, so took another down just because I was being an idiot right there. But at this point, I was, you know, definitely concerned. We're out of self-revives now completely. The damage output I'm seeing on this Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit is, you know, underwhelming to say the least. And, you know, I was just feeling not the most confident using this inside of tier 3, taking on anything that came my way, whether it be zombies, standard HVTs, dogs. It really was a lot of focus and a lot of concentration to kind of make sure that you're hitting the shots with this. Because if you miss, you know, they're coming at you at Mach 10. But it was definitely something, you know, it was an interesting weapon to use. It sounds strange. I feel like there's potential for this to be a little bit more effective than maybe the build I used today. I'm not too sure. So we'll work together in the comments section below to see if maybe that was part of the issue. Maybe the build I used today was not the best build. So let me know. I do have you guys covered with the build and the blueprint and camo. So if you're wondering about all that, that is in the video for you. So stick through and make sure you watch the whole thing for that. Now, for some reason, I could not mantle the side of this thing, wall or rock cliff or whatever, for the life of me. But here I am pushing back in towards the crowd, and you can see without Shatter Blast, I probably would have taken it down right there, as I wasn't able to clear out anything. And again, I'm out of ammo. Was just the most common theme I was noticing with this during my run today. Was I was just constantly a struggle to take care and find ammo and have enough ammo in the weapon to be able to dish out. You know, when I finally was able to clear out, say, crowd control to focus in fire on a bounty contract, I was running really low on ammunition. So then I had to venture off and find ammunition or find some more zombies to kill them, so hope they would drop some more ammunition. And then by that time, it was back to more zombies spawning in the area. And so it was a lot of, rinse and repeat. You clear out the area of focus fire on your bounty contract, and then you're low on ammo, so you need to grab some more zombies, kill them to get some ammo. I mean, as you can see, we're just struggling. The ammo fight is real with this. That was something I noticed a ton of, and why you're hearing me mention it so much is just something I felt for sure. But the critical damage when it came to Zhorde and dishing out, when he firing his laser attack, even when he had just his mouth open and I was able to get in a critical attack, and I hear, like, I gotta fight to get ammo so that I can take on. He's in a position, Zhorde, now that I can take advantage of him. I've got only 20 rounds, so that's not something I'm going to be able to do at the moment. We have to move out of the way. There's a mangler in the area causing me all kinds of problems, removing plates that were an issue for me to come up with today. So this was just definitely turning into a completely stressful run that, it was definitely something. I wasn't really enjoying it too much using this weapon. It definitely didn't hit very hard. And when I had it in my hands, I felt like I was moving fairly slow, so that is definitely a problem. But again, the issue was trying to come up with ammo. Every time I killed a zombie, I had to make sure I was checking the ground to see if I could pick up an ammo pouch from the zombies that had dropped it. And so that's definitely not something that is going to help you take on bounty contracts or help you take on, anything inside of the tier 3 zone. You need to be moving fast, and you need to be able to dishing out a ton of damage. So we used the energy mine. I figured I'd hop up here. The energy mine would supply me with some ammo caches from the zombies. And then Zhorde fired up his laser attack, and again, I didn't have the plates and took the down, and we had to plea this match for someone to come and get me. So shout out to Smoke Powerball for the revive. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And at this point, I'd come to the conclusion, a firm conclusion, that it was time to go. This weapon is definitely not a viable option to be using in the high threat zone. You can use it in tier 2, pack 3, you'd probably be okay. You'd be able to dish out some damage and be okay with that. So I wanted to grab a couple perks before I dipped out of tier 3, so I didn't take it down or anything on my way out of here. We were running out of cash, running out of time, and this weapon was shooting pillows at the zombies today. So I just made the decision to, save grace, put my head between my tails, call this one an L, and, we'll take the loss and move out of here, because that was definitely not a viable option. Very interesting weapon with a pressure gauge dial on the shotgun for you to use, which I'm not sure if you need to have that maxed out to get the max damage, but overall, I would definitely say this is something that is not a viable option for us to be running inside of our zombies games. Definitely inside of tier 3, and I would highly recommend you do not bring this into the Dark Aether, as I feel like that is not going to go well at all. Now, we did get some decent loot out of that. The PAP2 crystal I was able to replace, so that was absolutely amazing. This is the Jak Lance aftermarket conversion kit, and what it does, its pros and cons to the weapon are right here. And then the build that I used today in the video is right here on screen, so if you feel like there's some changes to be made to the build, then let's work together down in the comments section so that we all have one amazing build to be using inside of our zombies game mode. But there's not many options here. Can't use rear grip, barrel, no magazine, trigger action, or ammunition, so there's not many options. Now the camo that I was using is found under all camos under your retro, and it is right there, troubleshot or shoot. I think it looks absolutely amazing. And last thing to show you guys is the blueprint that I ran on the MX Garden. Don't forget to be subscribed, commenting, and liking the videos for your best chance to get in on the Black Ops 6 Vault Edition giveaway that happens at 5,000 subscribers. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you in the next one.